Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for Beach City Life and StartMeupHK. So I'm here with the lady of the hour herself, Jayne. So this is your baby, StartMeupHK. How are you enjoying the festival?
Well, I'm actually glad that baby is born now. Actually, I don't have to carry this burden. But it's actually every year it's fantastic fun. We've actually been doing this. This is our fourth iteration, and every year it seems to get bigger, and certainly a lot more interest from attendees, speakers, as well as media. Actually, so really happy with the results, and just really looking forward to the content as well. Yeah.
No, it's really fun walking around here. You're really catching a vibe with all of the exhibitors here, and there's a buzz that's very palpable, right?
Yes.
So how has this festival sort of changed since the first time around? Is it different this year versus last year?
Probably not fair to actually directly compare to when we launched this this festival 4 years ago. We were incredibly lucky. We had Elon Musk as our keynote speaker, who is probably, if you're in the tech world, he really is the person that we all want to hear from, and who everyone holds very, very dear to their hearts for entrepreneurship and the risks that he takes. So, in terms of speakers, not quite to that kind of level, but we've got some absolutely fantastic speakers as well. But I think the major change that we've seen is just more in terms of the scope, actually. So maybe the 4 years ago, we had overall, it was still a week-long series of events. The verticals were slightly different because what we saw then to what's happening now has developed somewhat. But we had maybe about 2,000, 2,500 people throughout the whole week. For this week, we're talking about 8,000 people coming in, and that's just covering what we call the core events that's on during the daytime in the sectors like Smart City, like the consumer tech. This event today, the Mills Textile Conference covers a whole bunch of consumer tech and fabrics and textiles and everything that is more stylishly tech, actually, which is really, really exciting. But so the scope has changed. I think in terms of just I think people are starting to take Hong Kong more seriously. I think overseas as a potential hub to set up their business, their tech businesses, and there's a number of reasons for that. And it's great to see this development.
Yeah. No, sort of speaking of the role of Hong Kong as like a hub, right? I was just speaking earlier with Startup Launchpad, the other co-host of today's event, right? And they're talking about how they really wanted to curate sort of a diverse representation of the companies that they work with. And so I'm speaking with founders who are coming from Shenzhen for the first time, right, to exhibit here. And so what do you sort of see, with the new connections with the mainland? Do you sort of see a shift in the way that businesses are operating? Are there more partnerships, or what's sort of happening with the role of Hong Kong in the Greater Bay Area?
So for the Greater Bay Area, we are talking about the 9 cities within Guangdong province, and then plus Hong Kong and Macau as well. I mean, if you look at that collectively, just purely in numbers at the moment, we're talking about, over 67 million people. So that in itself, even though it's such a very small percentage of China's total population, it's a massive percentage of its GDP, actually. It's about 13, I think, % of its China's GDP in a very small concentrated area. So if you're a tech company, especially if you're a mid-stage kind of scale-up kind of stage tech company, Hong Kong's a fantastic place to be a launch pad, to test out your products and to refine your tech solution to make sure it's appropriate for this part of the market. But then you can actually roll it out through the Greater Bay Area. And now with the high-speed rail and the world's longest bridge as well, it's 40 kilometers, that integration, that physical integration is going to be, so much more embedded, and that access within an hour to this population of 67 million people to potentially serve the market, actually sell your products. It's actually a fantastic opportunity. Not to mention the fact that, so many of these cities within the Greater Bay Area are specialised in fantastic types of manufacturing, very, very high tech, high value manufacturing, incredibly advanced. So, if you're in the IoT kind of space, or whether you're in, any kind of smart city kind of area, it's an area I feel like it's one of those opportunities that don't come along very often, and it's a great time to access that, and through Hong Kong, of course. Makes a lot of sense.
No, and so you have a very international background yourself, right? So can you tell us a bit more about that, and like what drew you to Hong Kong? Why is this a place that fills you with such passion? You can probably tell by the accent, I was raised in Scotland, but I was actually born in Hong Kong, and I left Hong Kong when I was very young. I came back, and it was at the time, actually, I came back about 20 years ago. It was just seen as like a fun place just to try out and things, but I had a job lined up at, in Spain, actually, working for one of the tech companies, because I was, interning there over the summer and things. So the idea was always just to spend a few weeks in Hong Kong and then, go to work in Spain, but the place was so buzzing even then, and it was just really dynamic, and since then I've basically worked in various kind of capacities, working with tech startups, working the whole .com thing at the beginning, and seeing all of that unfold, the implosion, and now the resurgence of everything. It's exciting to see, and it feels to be a really good time to be involved in the tech community in Hong Kong at this moment. Yeah. So any advice there for young people who are aspiring tech entrepreneurs?
I think, it's hard. Being a founder of a tech startup, it's difficult, but I think we are at this juncture where the opportunities are so big, and the potential to actually make a massive impact through leveraging tech, it's a big opportunity. And I think if you can, get the right partners on board, your co-founders, get the right mentors on board, and hopefully just make sure you've got the right proper market fit, and you can test in a number of ways. It's a good opportunity to build your career, and hopefully, a great opportunity just to experience, a very, very dynamic industry.
Yeah, and that dynamism, I think one of the things that so excites me to sort of come to events like this is sort of seeing the ecosystem and how development is. And you're talking about finding mentors. I think it's pretty incredible. You have organizations who are looking to support like very early stage startups. You have people who are there like once you've found your sort of like market fit and you've got that validation, they're ready to just like give you the juice you need to just like become a unicorn and keep growing, right?
And the nice thing about Hong Kong is that support is so much more readily available, I think, compared to even a lot more other cities around the world.
Right.
People are willing here, even at very senior positions, to actually, open their door and spend time and have a coffee and talk business. So it's great.
Yeah, I think definitely those things really make an impact. So thank you so much, Jayne, for taking time out of your day to join us and for sharing with us some of your shine.
Thank you so much. It's lovely having you folks here.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We're going to be live on Facebook on Beach City Live. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're watching on the StartMeupHK Festival YouTube channel.